All right, team, welcome to beginner air rifle target shooting. Target shooting is safe and fun. We're gonna now take your first shot. So we've covered up a number of lessons to this point. Now you get to shoot. First, I'm gonna demonstrate the shot, and then you'll get an opportunity to come up. I wanna remind you of our safety check, right? First off, everybody has their safety glasses on, okay? We've checked behind the range. It's clear and it's a safe range to use today. Also, if you hear the emergency whistle blast, 5 or more, that means there's been an emergency on the range, and at that point, you would go to rifle ready. And also a reminder of our 4 rules. What are those again? Beginning over here, number 1.
Number 1, always keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction.
Yes, number 2.
Always keep your finger outside the trigger guard until ready to shoot.
All right.
Always positively identify your target, check both in front and behind for safety.
All right, number 4.
Always keep your safety on until ready to shoot.
All right, I'm gonna walk behind the line with you, okay? These whistle commands will apply to me because I'm gonna give them a demonstration shot, and then you're gonna get an opportunity. Sound good? All right, I'm gonna come behind the line. Everybody's toes are behind the line. Get rifle. I'm gonna walk up. Just like you learned in the last lesson, I'm gonna pick the rifle up. I'm gonna walk up to the shooting line, and I'm gonna stand in the rifle ready position until I hear 1 whistle blast to shoot. That means we can now start the shooting process. First step is position. Feet are 90 to 95 degrees to the target. Now I'm gonna do step number 2, which is charge rifle. And I'm gonna spend a little more detail on this one. To charge the rifle, we're gonna put the recoil pad against our thigh, closest towards the target. I'm now gonna grab the barrel just below the front sight, and I'm gonna pull down until I hear a click. Did you hear that? The rifle is now charged. I'm gonna keep pressure on the barrel, as this is a spring inside of here, and I'm gonna keep pressure on that barrel the entire time, which brings me to step number 3, which is to load. I'm now gonna pick up a pellet. And you remember when we covered the parts of the pellet earlier? I'm gonna put the head of the pellet into the chamber, make sure it's firmly seated with my thumb, and then I'm gonna close the rifle with the barrel pointed towards the target and parallel to the ground. That completes step number 3, which is to load. I'm now gonna go to 4, which is shoulder rifle. So I'm gonna bring it up on my shoulder, and then I'm gonna do my rifle hand set that you all just practiced. Next, which is step 6, I'm gonna reach up and release the safety by pushing it forward. And then I'm moving to step number 7, which is trigger hand set. 8, aim. 9, shot setup. And 10, shoot. Number 11, follow through, reflect, and make safe. I'll return to the rifle ready and then wait for further instructions. In this case, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot another pellet, but this time I want you to call out the steps. Okay?
Okay. Position.
Charge rifle. Load.
Whoops, I dropped a pellet. If you drop a pellet, make sure you raise your hand and we'll come provide you with another pellet. Leave the pellet on the floor and we'll provide you with another pellet. What's the next step?
Shoulder rifle.
Rifle hand set.
Release safety.
Trigger hand set.
Aim, sight picture.
Shot set up.
Shoot, squeeze trigger.
Follow through, reflect, and make safe.
All right, now it's your turn to shoot. I'm gonna wait for the 2 whistle blast to return rifle. walk back, put my rifle in the rack, and then return behind the waiting line. We're going to do an exercise to show you how to squeeze the trigger so you're familiar with that before you take your first shot. So I'm going to hand out some ballpoint pens.
Got it.
We're going to use this pen kind of like a trigger. So I want to talk a little bit about how this process works when we're squeezing the trigger, which is step number 10. When we're squeezing the trigger for shoot, we're going to put the first pad of our finger on the trigger. So imagine that plunger on the pen is the trigger. We're going to put the first pad on there, and we're going to squeeze back, and you'll notice that there's quite a bit of slack. You're going to squeeze all that slack out until you feel the pressure getting a little bit tighter. This is very similar to the way a trigger works. Then that's when you want to start that shot setup, and you're getting that breath. Okay, you take that breath, you're aiming, making sure your sight picture, and then you finish the squeezing process, and it almost should be a surprise when it goes off. Does everybody kind of feel that? How there's some slack. So start at the beginning. You got slack that goes through the plunger, just like a two-stage trigger, and then it goes off, okay? So that's a little bit of an exercise you can use with your students to help them prepare for trigger squeeze. All right, now it's going to be your turn to shoot. Before we shoot, I want to explain to you something you might experience while you're on the line, and it's called a squib load. That happens if the pellet stays in the barrel. If it stays in the barrel, it may make a sound that sounds a little off compared to a normal shot. If you hear that, raise your hand and I'll come take a look, okay? All right, so these whistle blasts will be for you. The first one's gonna be 2, and that's gonna be to get your rifle. Get rifle. Once you're on the line, go to the rifle ready position. Okay, everybody's feet are behind the shooting line. Looks like everybody's in the rifle ready position. Shoot. Now I'm going to work with you individually, and I'm going to start over here on the left end of the line. Have you shot a rifle before?
Yes, I have.
Okay. All right, you're going to be on the upper left target, on target number 1. I'm going to put 3 pellets in here, and if you'd walk me through those steps, just say them briefly. You've already learned them, but just briefly go through them.
So position, charge rifle, load, shoulder rifle, rifle handset, release safety, trigger handset, aim, shot set, shoot, follow through, reflect, and make safe.
All right, yeah, just pull that safety back.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
All right, great. Cheryl, I really like your position. Shoulder width apart.
Okay.
It looks like a good foundation. This time I want you to work on, in step number 3, when you load and you're
Yes.
closing the barrel, I want to make sure that we keep that barrel pointed down towards the target when we
Yes.
close it.
Right,
All right?
okay.
Can you go ahead and do that this time?
Okay.
So let's go through those steps again.
Okay, position, charge rifle, load,
Nice.
shoulder rifle, rifle handset, release safety, trigger handset, aim, shot setup, shoot, and follow through, reflect, and make safe.
All right. Great job, Cheryl. You've got 1 pellet left. You can
Okay.
go ahead and shoot that one. When you're finished, just stay in the rifle ready,
Okay.
and then I'll let everybody know to return
Okay.
behind the waiting line. Okay?
Okay.
If you got questions, just raise your hand. I'll be right here.
Okay, got it.
All right. Have you shot a rifle before?
Nope, never.
Okay, great. Well, this is going to be fun. This will be your first shot. I'm going to put 3 pellets in your pellet holder.
Okay.
You're going to be on target holder number 2 at the upper top left. I want you to take a shot. You've learned the steps, but I want you to walk me through them, okay?
Position. Charge rifle. Load. shoulder, rifle hand set, release safety, trigger hand set, aim, shoot, squeeze trigger, follow through and reflect, make safe.
Make safe. All right, that was your first shot. What'd you think?
It's pretty great. Except I might have missed a step.
Oh, which one?
Shot setup.
Okay, it's exactly what I was going to talk to you about. Yeah, shot setup. I think, let's back up. I think you did a great job. I mean, you followed all the safety steps. You followed the steps really well. The one that you said you wanted to reference, though, was shot setup. So let's talk about that for a second. That's where we're actually getting into the zone of preparing for the shot. Our finger transitions to the trigger. We want to take that breath, take that pause, and make sure that we want to complete the shot within 4 seconds or so, and then start over if we're not able to complete it within 4 seconds. Okay? All right, so I'm going to stay here. Let's go through those steps again. You can go a little quicker this time, even if you'd like.
All right. Position, charge, load, shoulder rifle, rifle hand set, release safety, trigger hand set, aim, shot setup, shoot, squeeze trigger, follow through, reflect, make safe.
Super. You got one pellet left. So when you're finished with that one, just go to rifle ready, okay? All right. Super. That's a good sign. That means you're following the steps the same each time. Well, this might be your first shot at this too. All right, nice. What'd you think?
Pretty cool.
All right, great job. Everybody got the chance to take their first shot. Everybody's in rifle ready. Return rifle. All right, instructors, we're going to head down range and we're going to check targets. But before we do that, there's a couple things I want to keep in mind as an instructor. One, I want to check the rack to make sure all of the rifles are in the same position and that they're uncharged and the safety's on, okay, and the muzzles are all pointing up. This looks good. I'm also going to make my way towards the pellet that I dropped. Remember my demonstration shot? I want to be there because I want to pick that up when I go down range, okay? All right, to go check targets, it's 3 whistle blasts. We're all going to walk down now. I'm going to pick up the pellet, and I'm going to carry that with me, and we're going to walk down and we're going to stop at the target line. So lesson 1, we got a chance to cover the target line. So we're going to stop here, and now we're going to take a look at our targets. All right, now we're going to come forward. If you are shooting and you can look at your target, these targets are really nice because we're using these shoot and see targets. So we're going to keep reusing them. There's pasters on here that are small stickers. You can take those and place them over the top of where you shot, okay? And we're going to get ready for you to take some more shots, okay? All right, so go ahead and come forward and you can go ahead and work on your target. All right, instructors, you may notice that here's an example of a pellet that bounced back, maybe hit the curtain possibly. And we can look at this, but there are some things on here that makes us know that it was a pellet that's been shot. Do you see how that skirt has some ridges in it? So that's being shot. So students may look at this and want to reuse it. The pellets are only able to be shot once. So this is a pellet that we would discard. Remember when I was the first one at the targets as the instructor? Well, I'm also going to be the last one to return behind the waiting line. So the next thing you need to do is check behind the curtain to make sure that it's safe and the target range is still in a safe condition before everyone returns behind the waiting line. which is what we can do now.